Moonwalking Optimus! Hello again, YouTube. This is Dr. Optimus Prime Kendo, and I'm back with Scribblenauts Unlimited. This is the object editor commentaries where I create the most popular or most requested by the most amount of different people objects each week in the Scribblenauts Unlimited object editor. The name of this game is Scribblenauts Unlimited, but what we're using is one feature of the game called the object editor where you can create your characters in it. And you basically have a limitation of how many stamp pieces you can use, but a stamp piece is in essence just a puzzle piece to create your final product, you know, your whole object. So like if we put an arm or a hand down, that's one stamp. So the game does have limitations, and we will probably stretch them thin today because, as you saw in the title and in the very beginning of this video, we are creating Optimus Prime from Transformers. This is actually numerous reasons. Of course, I have picked this because the comments have been quite overwhelming usually for Transformers. It's never actually made it to the #1 spot of most popular object or, you know, most requested object, but because there is the North American Splatfest for Splatoon coming up with the topic of Autobots versus Decepticons, I thought that, you know, this would be a better time than most, I guess. It's a very opportune time, I guess, to create something from Transformers, and so we're gonna create one of my favorite characters. I can't even decide which one is actually my favorite. I really like Jazz as well, but I figured Optimus Prime, you know, that was actually the specific Transformer that was most asked for because, you know, when you say Transformers, it's like, who am I gonna make? Every single Transformer known to man? You know, I would love if I had enough time to do that, but unfortunately I gotta wait for them to be requested. But you saw here we're using a lot of different color patterns, so be sure to notice which patterns are being put on which part of the mecha, which is our source object. And then we've got two spheres over there. There are these little circular parts. By the way, this is Optimus Prime from the movie, the live-action Transformers film, starting in 2007 and beyond. And then we've got a dinosaur's neck piece as kind of, it's going to be the chest plate. This is basically where the front of his truck is. You know, when he's normally transformed, his vehicle transformation is the big truck, that Peter-built semi-truck. So that's why we've also got glass. You know, you can actually choose between raw glass or a container glass, so we actually picked the raw glass. You want that. Those are going to be sort of like the truck's windows up top, just above the dinosaur neck. And then we've got another piece of glass right there to the side of that you can see. It's on the left side for our left, his right side. And then we're using a stamp I've never used before. It's called Carbosis, I believe, and this is like a fine linen as far as I understand it, but we're using it more so for, I guess, engine ornamentation and stuff. It's just going to look like a truck part right here, so you can see that I've colored it kind of blue and a metallic-y silver sort of color, and we're putting it just below the dinosaur neck pieces right there. It's all coming together slowly but surely, so definitely bear with me as we are using a lot of various stamp pieces in ways that you wouldn't think. Joey, you know, that's like the term for a little baby kangaroo. So we actually use the arm of the Joey right there. It's going to be these two little connector pieces. It's just, I'm looking at an image, you know, from Google Images of the movie Optimus, and I'm just trying to think, okay, what is the shape that could possibly match some of these crazy shapes from the truck? I mean, it's just a lot of mechanized industrial pieces and stuff once he is transformed into his robot form, I guess. And we've taken the truck, just type in truck and grab one of the wheels, because Optimus Prime, you know, he does have the little wheels after he transforms there on his, I guess, the sides of his legs. Now, one thing that you want to make sure, of course, this is a giant character. You know, a mecha is bigger than Maxwell by default, obviously, and it should be because it is just like this giant robot. But even with Optimus Prime, I'm making his, especially the body, if you just touch onto the body and highlight it, make that a little bit bigger in proportion to the rest of the pieces, as well as his legs and things. You know, Optimus Prime has these huge legs, and we're actually making the feet parts down below a little bit wider, I guess, by using a warmer. So if you type in warmer, it comes up with these two little leg warmer pieces right there. That's actually going to be just for some more design and stuff. I've used that almost candy cane pattern painted blue so that you can still see some red, because he does have little like flames down there and stuff. And so for, I guess, a flame pattern, you would think that Scribblenauts Unlimited would have like a flame color pattern library thing, but they don't. And you just saw I put on Stegosaurus tails 4 times down on his feet. Optimus Prime, especially in the movie, you know, you can really see that he does have these little toes down there in essence. And so that's what that is. A Spinosaurus, the thigh or upper leg piece is going to go on Optimus's forearms, and so we're using this sort of like withered paint pattern, color pattern, in the color pattern library right there. So again, just pay close attention, I guess, to what kind of color palette I'm using on each one of them, because there's a lot of different ones. But here we are with a Pachycephalosaurus. We're also going to take a piece of that. We're going to go with kind of the base of the tail. So not the tail, but the piece that's right next to it. That's going to be like these little shoulder padding parts that are on Optimus Prime from the movie. And we might try to include some more stuff after this, but I think I'm pretty well out of stamp space. So I'll go ahead and read some background information and fun facts about Optimus Prime. And we are going to be creating both the movie version and Generation 1 Optimus Prime. So that's who we'll talk about. But anyway, I like to read the background information and fun facts for anybody who maybe could learn something new or doesn't know a lot about the characters. So here we go with Optimus Prime, who is the leader of the Autobots in the Transformers franchise and is often represented with a strong moral character, great skills in combat, and a strong sense of justice. We'll cover the two Optimuses, or Optimi, as I said, that I'll be doing for today's creations. And so if we start out with the Generation 1 Optimus Prime fun facts, he transforms into a Kenworth K100 cab over truck. In the animated series, he was able to withdraw his right hand and replace it with a glowing axe. But for the purposes of our cartoon Optimus coming up a little later, we probably won't show that off. I just wanted to be sure people knew about it either way, and be sure that I acknowledged it, that it exists. While I wish that we could go on and on and on about him, I only have limited amount of time, so I'd probably just end off by describing him as wise and mostly upbeat and just all around awesome. Now, the movie version of Optimus Prime, which we've just finished, based on the live-action Transformers films beginning around 2007, I consider him to retain many of the facets of Optimus of old, except he sometimes seems more no-nonsense, I guess. And only at times. He transforms into a blue and red 1994 Peterbilt 379 semi-trailer truck. Considered one of the film's best aspects, and also something I would hate if I didn't mention, is the reprisal of Peter Cullen as the voice actor for movie Optimus. I thought it was absolutely wonderful to include him, being that he was not only Optimus's original voice in Generation 1, but he's got such an amazingly deep voice that I practically aspire to with some of my favorite voice acting. I personally like both designs for Optimus, so it's honestly my honor to create both G1 and the film version today. You can see that we've got a mecha head right here. You just type in head as the source object and then type in mecha, put the head from the mecha down, and that's what we've got for kind of the main assembly, I guess, of his head right here. We've got two little headbands that are painted blue down where his mouth is, basically, and this is Optimus with his mouth not being open. When he's in combat, often he has those two little doors closed over his mouth to protect himself. And so anyway, that little thing on his forehead is a Pachycephalosaurus thigh piece, and then right here, what I'm resizing, it's kind of black looking. It's an orca, using like a piece of the orca tail, I should say. So then just painted kind of a metal metallic-y pattern color, dark gray, and what else do we have? We also have the shark's fin, so if you just take that front little fin on a shark and do that twice, because Optimus, in the movie and in the cartoon, he has multiple kind of head spikes and stuff, but in the movie, he's got like 4, I think. And if not, you don't have to correct me, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but for the creation, we've sort of included these 4 and put a dot right kind of at the base of each of those shark fins. We've got one dot right there, just on the one facing our side. A pearl is actually for his eyes, the more round part, and then like the little, I guess what you could say is the pupil. It's not a dark black pupil or anything. In the movie, of course, it's glowy blue. That is a dot. So just the main thing that I'm highlighting right here is that it can be worn on the face like glasses. This is what you want to press for any of the heads when you make like a 2-parter creation in Scribblenauts. You basically want the headpiece to be worn on the head like glasses. You could do worn on the head like a hat, but then you would need to make the head a lot lower on your body part of the creation. So we need something for our Optimus to battle. I'm not trying to type in Teeks. I want T-Rex, a big giant metal T-Rex. That's obviously referencing something pretty obvious, but anyway, he made mincemeat out of it completely. So let's see how he handles another machine, Thomas the Tank. We're making a crazy hostile living Thomas the Tank engine, and looks like he made mincemeat of that one as well, and we obviously have him scripted to shoot out a missile after he gets attacked, and so I, could have done a number of things. You can, of course, make your Optimus, and under the behavior scripts, you can make him use swords and things like that. That might be a good thing to do if you want, but all in all, I'm happy. I'm mostly going for the appearances here. I don't go way too far in depth into the scripting usually. Sometimes I've done some crazy scripts and things like that, but there's our movie Optimus. He looks epic. So here we go. We've got a design kind of already laid out for Cartoon Optimus, and this is basically a lot of geometry library pieces. So we have used all of the stamp space here, but you can see that there are squares on his chest, basically, with the glass over them. So that's like the truck pieces in the windows right there. This is the letter I, which I've highlighted right there on either side of his shoulders. So that's just the letter I. We've got a cube right next to them, right next to the letter I should say. That's all keeping the original mecha body parts and things like that, so all of the mecha parts are still on it except for the head, of course, as you see. This little piece that I've highlighted down there below his stomach, I guess you could say, is flan, F-L-A-N. You could probably use a lot of different things to get that shape. You just want like this little bowl type shape almost. A block is right below that little blue piece, right below the bowl of flan. The long rectangular prism shape is right there over his arms, over the mecha arms, and still kind of showing his hands peeking out of them. Keep the mecha thigh or upper leg parts, but then use a rhino. We took like the upper thigh piece in the back of a rhino's front legs, kind of have that cover most of the feet, except for leave, I guess, the little toes of the mecha's feet peeking out, with some rectangle shapes also on the feet. And then you also saw probably that there's a rectangle shape up on the flan as well. And just above the flan white bowl shape is a washboard. So I have him with a washboard stomach. And a mecha head painted white is on his shoulders, over there on his left shoulder to our right to show the Autobot symbol. Alright, but the head again is the mecha head, just like we did the movie Optimus, except for this time we've used a chicken finger for the eyes, and we've kind of kept the mecha eye pieces mostly the same otherwise, except for just painted a little bit grayish white. The shark's back fin now this time is going to be one of the little spikes, and then that's actually going to be behind a layer from a Liopleurodon, the tail of the Liopleurodon. And the Liopleurodon is basically like a Mosasaurus, so some people have asked me, can you create the Mosasaurus from Jurassic World? And that's one of the reasons that I didn't, although it hasn't become the most popular request either. But I mean, it's so close to that image of the Liopleurodon, so I don't think much editing would be involved. A sphere is right here at the base of the Liopleurodon tail, and attached somewhat with the shark fin that you saw. And so there on his forehead is actually it's a piece from a T-Rex. You want to take kind of this upper thigh piece that's in the back, that right there, that is the little metallic design, I guess, that's on his forehead right now. So you just shrink it down pretty close to the smallest size that you can get, and there you have it. Color it metallic, and then I put another one that's just kind of a solid gray rather than the metallic color pattern behind that. So that's how I accomplished that right there. You can see me changing the two different colors, create the solid gray one just a little bit bigger, make it a little bit bigger and put it behind the metallic one. So there you have it, Cartoon Optimus's head. I mean, you could call it whatever you want. I just called it Cartoon Optimus. There we go. We've got both of our Optimi right here. We've got them still right now, but I'm gonna assign them the hostile adjective. We're gonna see who would win once and for all, settle the score between Cartoon Optimus and Movie Optimus. And we've got Cartoon Optimus with his huge black gun thing right here. They're shooting me, damn it. I need to get out of the way here. And there we go, make them shoot each other. Otherwise they wouldn't fight each other. A mecha by default, they don't really fight each other. So anyway, I mean, it looks like Movie Optimus is doing really good because I gave him the little missile. I have Cartoon Optimus just sort of shooting out a bullet. You can make him shoot out whatever you want, I guess. For the projectile, you can either do that as the main weapon or within the scripting, like how I do usually with the scripting, where they become brave and then they wait a set amount of time and then they shoot a projectile that way. It's just sort of a fun way to have another projectile amidst the main weapon projectile that they might have. But I appreciate everybody's attention in the matter of watching these videos and with the requests. Again, I create whatever's most popular, but on a time like this with the Splatfest coming up, this was a very popular requested object. Again, it just didn't really make number one in the number one spot, I guess, for the most popular or most requested items. So it's still fulfilling other people's requests while also taking care of the most popular requests, because we will have the most popular number one request in the next episode coming up this Sunday. So I can't say it enough. I love Kendopolis. All of you rock, and I will catch you on the next vid. And thanks for viewing. Let's look at it more. My words ain't meant to be about wage or war. They're meant to bring justice to all wrongdoers. They're like a spectacle, so you can be the viewer and
down the road up with